Hi everybody, good morning. Just back from Amsterdam on Saturday. Went to see David Rudolph and Jerry Buting, and whilst I could sit here and go through all the notes of stuff that I'd written down, in fairness, it would be far better for you to go and see them live yourself. Again, they cover aspects of their various cases with their expertise knowledge better than I can do in a short video. So next time they're somewhere nearby, then I would strongly suggest go and have a watch of them and listen to them. It's again going over some of their previous stuff in the cases, but there's also some other interesting stuff. The show in Amsterdam consisted of 2 hours. They started about 8:20. They went on till about 10:30, answering various questions set by the audience. So very good. Which, as I say, strongly advise go and see them at your earliest opportunity. Quickly, I want to discuss the Halbach family, and I would simply ask this question: who are responsible for denying them closure? Okay, if item FL simply grazed Teresa, ricocheted off the concrete floor of the garage, then ricocheted off the wooden wall, and then bounced off some sort of lubricant, and then came to rest under the compressor, well, there's a chance that did happen, albeit fairly remote, but there's a chance. But then there's also a chance that that's not what happened, or that somehow the bullet ricocheted off the concrete floor and then got stuck in the wooden paneling, and then luckily it fell down and landed near the compressor just in time for them to discover it after Brendan's interrogation. And of course, if the RAV4 key was cleverly hidden, so cleverly hidden that only the crackerjack Manitowoc detectives Lenk and Colburn were skilled enough to find it after there had been 6 previous unsuccessful searches, there's also a possibility that that wasn't what happened. Now, if the bonnet catch of Teresa's RAV4 has a surface on it, the metal surface is like grade 40 sandpaper, the roughest you can get, which resulted in Steve depositing 90 times more DNA than anyone else on a normal bonnet catch would. If that's possible, it's also possible that that didn't happen. And if Teresa's body was burnt in the open fire of the burn pit behind Steve's garage with so much heat that 60% of her body and nearly all of her teeth evaporated, there's also a chance that that didn't happen either. And if Andy Colburn was not looking at Teresa's car when asking about his good friend Sam William Henry 852, well, there's also a chance that he was. Now, if there's a chance that the Almighty God himself led Pam Sturm straight to the RAV4, there's also the possibility that he's got other more important things to do than direct Pam, and that isn't actually what happened. And of course, if Steve and Brendan, obviously in their own profession, but if they did a miraculous cleaning job in Steve's bedroom, there's also a chance that Teresa was never in that bedroom. And if Brendan did see a non-existent tattoo on Teresa's body, there's also a chance that he did not see any part of Teresa. Now, I have to bear in mind that Ken Kratz secured the convictions of Steve and Brendan, and he's been quoted as saying that he didn't just have to prove beyond reasonable doubt, but that he had to prove it beyond all doubt. And that's what he did. The trouble is, a lot of us don't think so. We don't think he did. We don't think he proved it beyond all doubt. We don't think he proved it beyond reasonable doubt. We don't think he proved it at all. But if Steve and Brendan did do it, then we can see why people would think that they're guilty. If everything that happened, that I've just gone through, did happen, then you can see why people would think they're guilty, because so would we, if that's what happened. But there's too much doubt. And millions have now seen that. You know, thanks to Making a Murderer. You know, Now, if there had been no doubt whatsoever about the convictions, there wouldn't have been a Making a Murderer. And isn't it interesting that even Tom Fassbender came out with the statement that he's not sure if Brendan Dassey did all of what he said or just some of what he said. Absolutely absurd, because if he doesn't know if he did some of it, what bits does he know? What bits doesn't he know? And of course, all that Brendan did was to agree what Wiegert and Tom Fassbender said to him. It was simply a case of them presenting facts, so-called facts, and Brendan just agreeing. He was never going to disagree. He actually said that to him, didn't it? Do you disagree with me? I quite agree. It was a little bit like a teacher or a parent scolding a child. Do you disagree with me? No, of course not. The problem is that there is a whole load of doubt about what was presented at trial. And there's more than sufficient doubt that Steve and Brendan are guilty. More than sufficient doubt. Ken Kratz and his elite team of investigators and prosecutors, they are the ones responsible for this doubt. Had it been a proper investigation, there's no way that Steve and Brendan would be put on trial in the first place. But at least if there had been a proper investigation, then they might have found out who really did murder Teresa. They are the reason that the Halbach family are not enjoying closure on this case. And I would just add that the reporting, some of the reporting on this case has been appalling. Since Making a Murderer #2 has come out, fortunately, the audience that Ken Kratz has been enjoying has been diminishing rapidly. I noticed the other day that he was chatting with a lady on YouTube who's got about 300 subscribers. His sort of appeal to any kind of media outlet is diminishing so much because nobody believes him, that it's actually creating a void in the sort of Stephen Avery is guilty marketplace, because there is so much support for Kathleen Zellner and Stephen Avery. We're getting literally hundreds of videos, thousands of videos. I'm coming across new people doing videos about Stephen and Brendan every day. Some that I've watched recently, very, very good ones. Eddie Going and Rubber Ducky, and there's been a few others. And it's nice to know that, the supporters out there on the YouTube channels, they don't just support Stephen Avery, they also support one another. They're in close contact with all the other supporters, and that's really good. It's creating a really good family community whereby we actually support one another. But of course, as I say, it's created this void in the marketplace. Now, some of the journalists out there have realised, I could fill that void. All I need to do is write from the point of view that Stephen Avery is guilty. And what I'll do is I'll make sure that all my facts are wrong so that I can fit them to the supposed narrative of Ken Crutz. And that will make them stand out even more. And that's exactly what we're getting. One or two people, there's a fella that comes onto the Ericoze channel. Dude, you are simply doing that because you want to stand out. We had it over the last couple of months, couple of years, the Thomas Hentz from Canada, just trying to stand out, trying to be different so that it gets all the attention. That's all they are. They're just attention seekers. If they had any common sense, then they would be on our side. But they do have a bit of sense in the fact that they want to stand out. They want to be different. So what better way of being different than playing devil's advocate? As I say, I read that article in the, whatever it was, by the guy with the unpronounceable name, Harin Say or something like that. What a load of rubbish. Complete and utter garbage. Again, not a single fact was correct. And the one things that, you know, when you go by, well, Brendan said this, and this is what we found, therefore that's true. No. Look, nothing at all that Brendan Dassey said can be corroborated. Anyway, I've kept you long enough. Catch you later. Bye for now.